Hello and welcome to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
All right.
Stuart.
All right.
And Matt. How you doing?
All right, Gav. How you doing, son?
Yeah, good. Guys, how you getting on?
Fantastic, as always, you.
I'm really good. Aye. Although I was working the weekend, I'm really good. It was my dad's birthday today. I know I kind of shared a picture with you, but the first game he took me to was the Middlesbrough game, so I got him a programme on eBay. It was nice and cheap, and a programme from that game, put in a nice wee frame, a couple other silly things as well, and then obviously went round in the garden and kind of gave over his presents and stood socially distanced apart and stuff. But we were speaking about it. It was a year ago today. We had my dad's birthday just before lockdown and stuff started. Everyone in the family's now had a lockdown birthday. Just scary that's kind of been a year of this almost.
Really is.
So a nice wee garden birthday exchange, nice and short, but hopefully have a Chinese one soon to celebrate it properly. How's your day been today, Dave?
It's been all right, mate. Went a run and then just sat and played some Call of Duty with you. I kind of have not had a lockdown birthday yet because my birthday was end of August, so everyone was kind of relaxed a wee bit, and then it's going to be back the same again. So I've not really had the pain. I've been furloughed for friggin' half a year, but
I think you've paid your dues there, mate.
Yeah. But I've not had a lockdown birthday, so.
What about yourself, Stuart? How's your day been?
Yeah, not too bad. Billy Dave got out for a run first thing this morning. It's a wee bit colder than I thought it was going to be. Then just working. But the really exciting news is I managed to get booked in for a haircut. It's 6 weeks away. I'm currently trying to style my lovely Joe Newell luscious locks, and it's not really happening. So can't wait for that.
I'll have to get tips on you about going for runs because, I mean, Dave, you as well, because I know you were out for a run as well today. I just get so bored. Like, it's just one foot in front of the other, and just, I don't know. I need something.
That's how you do it, right?
I need tips about how to make it more engaging, more exciting. I try to be a bit more fitter going forward. Matt, how was your day today?
Pretty boring. Done the food shop. That's the highlight. Not much else to do apart from that.
I think a lot of people like that just now with, can't go anywhere. So food shop kind of like the highlight of the week.
Food shop, Football Manager. That's about
it. Any good save on Football Manager?
I do, but I won't say what it is on here.
Fair enough.
What was your favourite thing you got for the shop? Because I'm more interested in the food.
Kind of like the wee Lindt chocolate eggs you get at Easter time. Them, the quality.
That's a cracking start. Lindt chocolate, top tier.
Bottle of lemonade, but that's about it.
Was it Schweppes or
no? It was just bars.
Bars.
Bars. There you go.
Bars,
yeah,
right? I like
from Jan, so.
Just the Marlin, is it?
But no, I pretty boring day overall.
I like a lot like that just now, but hopefully this is the sort of beginning of the end. Like say Stuart saying about the haircut booked in for 6 weeks. That's hopefully in 6 weeks' time we've got, no disrespect to your haircut, Stuart, but more exciting things to look forward to in a further 6 weeks after that. But
I beg to differ there, Gav. To be honest.
No, I'm really needing to get myself seen to as well. It's I can't wait till the hairdressers open up again. But yeah. Anyway, let's so we're going to have a chat about obviously the Motherwell defeat today, and we're going to have a chat about some of the team selection, things like that. And is it maybe just a hiccup? I was actually thinking about calling it this, but I remember we've done a podcast episode like this before. Is it just a hiccup, or is this kind of a concern going into the last 3 games? We'll have a brief chat about those 3 games as well in general. But yeah, Dave, Gogic, we kind of spoke about him last week about needing him for some games. Was this a game that you would like to have seen him in, especially considering Motherwell's midfield?
Yes, in hindsight, definitely yes. So we just again surrendered quite a lot of the possession in that to Motherwell, and they kind of were having the better chances. They were the better team, and I think if Gogic was in there, he could have battled a bit more with Alan Campbell. probably rather have seen 3 of them in there, somebody protecting. Because we played with 2 the last time we played Motherwell at Easter Road. It was Gogic and Newell in the middle. It didn't work. So to go with who was it? Irvine and Newell.
Irvine, Newell, yeah.
Didn't work either. So I would have rather have seen a third in there to try and combat, because they did. The midfield probably dominated the game.
Matt, I mean, like, I know that midfield, that obviously going back to the last home game, which Dave kind of spoke about there, I know Turnbull played that game, and he's obviously at Celtic now, tearing it up there, one of their best performers this season. But even then, and I know Motherwell have maybe been not on the best run of form, but is it maybe just sort of taking them a bit lightly, not kind of getting an extra man in there, considering that's the way they play it, or do we think, a different manager, so it might be different?
Quite possible. I mean, Motherwell are down bottom of the table, so I obviously don't really watch their games, but you would think Hibs would want to control this game at home. I don't know if you'd say there was a home advantage just now with no fans in, but you've really got to look to control this sort of game, get the 3 points at home, then move on to your next game. But it's hard to say. I mean, I don't think Gogic would have made much of a difference, but he would have done something. I think it was quite an attacking midfield. We went for attack and it really didn't turn out well.
Yeah, and like I say, the way the match started, I mean, a bit sort of back and forth to begin with. Cadden probably the first chance to mention, Stuart. I mean, I know Lewis Stevenson, who obviously wasn't playing because Doidge had a slight injury, crossed the ball, kind of took 2 bounces and came to Cadden. He went for the spectacular in the top corner. Would have been some goal if it came off. But is that maybe like the benefit of this system, that, you know, Cadden does seem like getting into these attacking positions, which we spoke about last week. The fullbacks do offer an attacking threat as well as obviously defensive.
Yeah, Cadden's taken to that role in the Hibs team like a duck to water. He will find his range. He will get his shooting boots on for it. I think when they did the replay off the shot, it was inches over the bar, as opposed to anything else. If that had hit the top of the net, we would have had a totally different result there from it. It just... I don't know. Going back to the earlier points with the lineup, I don't think any of us looked at that and immediately thought, "Oh, we're going to be struggling today." This midfield. Hindsight is 2020 with these things, so I'm almost going to defend Jack Ross on it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, it was good to see that getting that chance, and like say Lewis Stevenson, who, you know, his crossing can be a bit hit or miss, so it was actually a bit of a dangerous cross. And another day could have came off, and like say, it would have been interesting to see how the game went from there. And then, you know, Motherwell with a ball over the top, and it was sort of McGregor. I believe McGregor just judges the flight of the ball. Watt gets in, has a lot more space than he realizes. Dave, would you panicking here and thinking Motherwell were going to be going 1-0 up?
Yeah, I think a couple of us watched, like we're on Discord together when we were all watching it, and we all that kind of gasped as he went through. Stuart in particular, oh my God, he was 2 seconds in front of me or something. So again, when you know it's coming, you're like, oh no, and your kind of whole body just tenses up. But thankfully, I think he probably was just a wee bit too wide, and he kind of lashed at it because he needed to go with power anyway. So, But yeah. It was a big chance. Yeah,
was that a bit of a warning sign, Matt, that, you know, things were kind of bad? Motherwell were kind of starting to find their feet and finding ways in behind?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was really an eye-opener that I thought they're not just going to come in and sit in here. They're going to have a go at us, get in behind us. I think when McGregor makes that mistake, you're thinking, could something bad happen here? But then, as you say, Tony Watt doesn't connect it time, doesn't connect it well even. He has got more time than he realises, but just snatches at it.
Yeah, that's what Matt said there, though. Like, that's a pattern that teams coming to Easter Road and been like, we could probably have a go at them here. Yeah. Seen Hamilton doing it. They hit the post before, obviously, they end up going down to 10 men. You've got Ross County coming, beating us convincingly. Levy beating us convincingly. It's like, with Easter Road's just a place where you can come. It'd be too soft. It'd be too predictable. Like, what's the pattern? It's definitely a hang that teams aren't scared to come to Easter Road.
We start games too placid. We're too slow. We're never come out the traps. We don't have any drive from the midfield. Our midfield, sorry if I'm jumping ahead here, it was anonymous. It was posted absolutely missing for practically the whole 90 minutes on Saturday. And as kind of Matt correctly said, Motherwell have got a great free, and their league position doesn't really represent what their midfield can actually do. But we should have seen it coming.
Yeah, and like I say, that midfield was kind of missing when the ball kind of came to the centre circle a few minutes later, and Paul McGinn, goes rushing towards the ball, kind of presses down immediately. Hanlon notices that there's space left, kind of goes running across. All of a sudden, the defence is all over the place. We talk about Tony Watt kind of snatching at his chance. He didn't snatch at this ball. He kind of really great ball from match left. I hate giving credit to Tony Watt, but he's sort of the outside of his foot, sees the space, plays the ball through, and I think it's Jordan Roberts sort of ran onto it and beats Hanlon for pace, gets in it with McGregor and Marciano, and slips it under the keeper. Matt, what was going on with the defending for this goal? I mean, at the centre circle and then just leaving that space behind.
Yeah, it's a lack of concentration, composure, and communication overall, really. When you're saying we scrap in the centre circle, that's what it is. It's just someone's got to step up, take responsibility, and just boot the ball out of play, even if that's worst option there. It's just someone's got to deal with it.
Dave, your thoughts on it? On the defending?
One, I don't think we needed to probably be defending that high up. Drop a couple of yards and then you're inviting Motherwell on a wee bit rather than leaving that space for Jordan Roberts to run in behind. It's not exactly as if Hanlon and McGregor are fast. Paul McGinn is pretty culpable on this. He dives in to win the ball, which, again, I don't know how many times we've seen that this season, where a defender thinks he can win the ball, which fair enough, but then doesn't. And then that kind of left us all 6s and 7s, and then the boy was just clean through. Hanlon, no chance catching him, but why did we leave as much space as we did? That was a simple ball at the top. It was a good ball, but it was easy enough to carve open, which is not good enough. And the defence has been good, so I'm not going to go to town on them, but it still just highlights how just simple mistakes. And guess what? We're talking about finishing second last week, or I was. Then out the window, bye-bye. It'll never ever happen if that's how you defend.
Did we go into the game too complacent?
Probably.
Thinking, it's only Motherwell. We've got through 4 tougher games, I would say, looking at league form, and we're starting to now gear ourselves up for, St Johnstone Saturday, the game against County, then the split. I'd have put Motherwell not quite as a banker for 3 points, but looking at the way they've played this season, we just went into it far too soft.
Yeah.
Stuart, what was your thoughts on the fact that, I mean, I know to be 4 minutes later, Nisbet did come on, but what was your thoughts on the fact that at half time there was no changes? When you're seeing the same team come out, did you think, okay, this is, maybe a bit of instructional change will fix things, or did you want to see a change sooner, or even maybe even before the half-time interval?
I know I'm going to give Dave credit to this because he was the first one to say it on our group chat, so I'm stealing your point. I hope you don't mind, buddy. But we've given it was absolutely correct. We've given the guys 45 minutes to go out and do something. There was clearly something lacking in that first half. Why then leave them to get another 10, 15 minutes into the second half of it when it almost looked comical to concede that second goal and then make 3 immediate changes? We still do get 5 subs right now. So why not change it up at half-time, put 1 or 2 guys on? Because again, there was something drastically lacking in that first half. No urgency, no pace, nothing there. What was going to change that? Was there a half-time rollicking and Ross was convinced that the boys all knew their role again, but that plan went out the window in the first 90 seconds.
Yeah, like I say, 90 seconds into the second half, Motherwell make it 2-0. We moan about Hibs not being able to take throw-ins. Motherwell could take a throw-in. And I just, Matt, okay, I'm a bit annoyed. I was watching this back, watching it, can have to put notes together, because you watch as they take a throw-in and no one challenges them, and the ball bobs about and there's no one kind of getting in their face of that. And then the fact that the player, I can't remember, I've not got his name written down there, kind of just walks through the defence and then slips it to Devante Cole. What was more frustrating, Matt? The lack of challenging, or from in terms of the throwing and things like that, or just the fact that he was able to just walk through the defence?
Both, really. It's basic stuff. I mean, basic defending. I think it's Hanlon just turns his back on the lad running through and just, as you say, just slips it through. But coming back to the throwing as well, it's basic defending from a throw in. As you say, we always moan about Hibs not being able to take a throw. Also looks like we now can't defend a throw either. It's just basic stuff. The full game, we got the basics wrong. The full game.
Yeah. Dave, I mean, great finish for Devante Cole, but he had way too much space.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. It was there was no aggression in their defending. Far too nice, too soft, exactly what we were saying. The ball did get a wee bit of a lucky bounce in there, I think, off somebody, but it just wasn't good enough. But then going back to what Stuart was just saying about the whole half-time stuff, that was just comical. Like, you've 45 minutes, like, should be more than enough for a chance. You should have your boys on the bench be absolute bursting a gut to get on and want to get on, and that should be the exact same for the folks that are playing the first half. They should be like, shit, I might get subbed here at half time. No, it's fine, I've got another 10, 15 minutes to get my finger out. Nah, if you've not been good enough, off you come. Like, we've got enough, like, midfield was anonymous. We've got enough midfielders that we could have completely changed it up. Why wait until it gets worse?
Yeah, 49th minute, it's got it down here as or maybe the 50th minute, the three changes were made. Nisbet on for McGregor, it's got here. Gogic on for Stevenson and Porteous on for Jamie Murphy. Obviously not sort of those ones directly, but they were three off and three on. Stuart, what was your kind of thoughts on the changes and how do you feel they kind of impacted the game?
Did they? For me, first half, Murphy, however much we've praised him in the last few weeks, starting to come on to the player that we thought we were getting. What did he do in that first half? Absolutely nothing. I think it was probably right to bring Porteous back and we start bringing him back into the team. Nisbet, you wanted to see a lot more, again, this kind of busting a gut, wanting to go for it, aggression, and we just kind of never really got it. On paper, it was kind of there. We wanted to see it, but I was sitting there watching the game with Dave and Ali, and none of us were shouting. There was no anger coming from us. There was no frustration. It was just, here we go. And I didn't really see a way of us getting back into that game.
No.
And that was the disappointing thing. Like, it could have just been one of these, it's a bad day at the office, we've hit the bar, referees being in Egypt. What did the referee have to do on Saturday? There was no big calls to make or anything like that. He actually probably had a decent game. And I don't want to be one of these people that sits and blames the referee, because he genuinely had naught to do.
Yeah, we turned up, went through the motions, and then walked off the park. That was essentially it. Which is, like, the team gets praised, right? We were praising them last week, or we might finish second. Jack Ross going for record points tally, but after performances like that, they need to put their hands up and be like, "That's not good enough." Then, if any ambition at all in their playing careers or that, they need to, if they want to achieve anything, then that type of performance just can't happen, and we see it far too often. Especially when you're a Hibs fan, see soon something's gone well, they're just going to disappoint you. Simple as that. Shite.
Yeah, and then, like I say, I mean, to be fair, Hibs did have a few chances in the second half. Probably the better of the chances. I think Motherwell actually only recorded 2 shots on target in the entire 90 minutes. So maybe as a sort of positive, that's the defence kind of doing their job there. But Motherwell, in saying that, Motherwell didn't need to score another one because they were 2-0 up.
We can also put the positive spin on. We had practically double the amount of passes that Motherwell did, but none of our passes went anywhere. We didn't do anything with them.
83% pass success.
Sorry, Matt, didn't catch that.
And 83% pass success for Hibs compared to Motherwell's 47.
I'd quite believe that quite a lot of them were probably between Stevenson to Hanlon to Stevenson. Like we see
back to Rocky
every time they play together. So, oh well.
It's good to pass the ball to your mate, though. To be fair.
As you say, with
Matt, what's your your thoughts on Hibs the way they were kind of playing the second half? Obviously Motherwell sitting quite deep trying to see out the game. What was your kind of thoughts on Hibs' approach to the second half?
I mean, we did come out a bit more attacking, but even when we got the chances, I mean, I'm sure we've touched on, I think, Doidge had maybe 2 chances. One, he just blasted straight at the keeper. He should have done better. But we did come out more attacking, but to no avail, really. So, Motherwell just defended brilliantly. You got to give Motherwell credit for the whole of Saturday. Can't take anything away from them.
But tell you one thing I wouldn't have changed, and this might sound crazy, Gokic, we're bringing a guy to help protect the defence when we're 2-0 down. We're actually dropping further back.
I'm glad someone said that.
We should have been going forward.
And bringing on Porteous.
Porteous as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like? I mean, do you think that's sort of Jack Ross maybe thinking it's more the personnel rather than the system by sort of making those changes?
Possibly. I don't know what Jack Ross was thinking, because I quite possibly believe he'll be standing there absolutely fuming. Don't know what I would love to know what he said at half time, for it to come out and just what he did say at half time couldn't have been along the lines of go out there and get fucking stuck in, because you've seen the second goal straight after half time when you should be at their most fired up after what your gaffer's just said, and we didn't. I'd have quite happily seen a foul given away out there, and it quite easily could have been the case where they would give away a foul and then we're sitting here being like talking about how they scored for a stupid free kick. But I hate watching teams just sort of right through us, and I honestly do think we just, like I say, we just turned up and just went through the motions. It's like nobody looked bothered, nobody was arsed, nobody was raging, and then.
Do you think this is where, again, we're missing the crowds? Easter Road, our home record hasn't been brilliant this season, but at half-time, I'm quite willing to bet there would have been a resounding chorus of boos with these guys coming off. Would that have almost helped a half-time team talk to say, do you guys hear this? These guys are paying their wage to go there, get out there and start turn on. 1-0 down at half-time, it's not the end of the world. You can definitely turn that round. 2-0 90 seconds later, that's you. We're practically done.
We done the same against St Johnstone in the cup semi-final. Like, we lost a goal straight after half time, and was it. Then we just looked defeated. And Matty's saying like we've maybe looked a bit more attacking in that, but to absolutely nothing really. And when you've got Doidge up top now in the form that he's in, then we're no dangerous. He works hard in that. Don't doubt that, and I like him for that, but we need better.
God, he had that shot in the first half. Was it a shot or was it a pass across the box? God knows what it was.
So he just completely miskicked it.
Yeah, well, I had a few miskicks. Never mind the one I'm kind of referring to.
He dummied it, Stuart. It was a dummy.
Well, I mean, let's have a chat about Doidge then, because I mean, this is sort of one of the things I've sort of brought up. We're still obviously chatting about the Motherwell game here, but we've kind of got a wee graphic here for this for Doidge and obviously Kevin Nisbet, who did come on, to be fair, for the second half, which kind of maybe will play into this conversation. But we'll talk about his chances first in the game. First one, it was a tremendous ball for Jackson Irvine, to be fair. A lovely sort of reverse pass through, and Doidge, runs onto it. And straight at the keeper, Dave. This is one that maybe not the worst of the two that we're going to talk about, but in terms of this one, do you feel he should have done better?
Yeah, but that's just a poor finish. He just kind of lashes at it, and it was a good ball for Jackson Irvine, I think it was, wasn't it? But I think if that was Nisbet and his pomp, then that would have probably been a great chance, or Boyle. As soon as you see Doidge getting slipped through like that, it's not the type of goals he's been accustomed to scoring, to be fair. They normally go in off his arse or something like that. He's that type of striker, so I wasn't surprised that he missed it. It probably wasn't a glaring chance, but
yeah, but it's fair to say this one was, Matt. This is the next one. Boyle with the cross in, the defender goes to kind of clear it and makes an arse of it. It falls to Doidge. He's got all the time in the world, and what is he trying to do? Is he I don't know. He could have put it anywhere and he puts it straight at the keeper.
I mean, it's one of these ones. Is it this the one that he had the rebound as well, headed wide?
Yeah.
Aye, he's got to score at least. I know you'd say score at least, but he's got to score one of them, even if it is the rebound header. But only he knows what he was trying to do. But it was crap.
Just panicked.
Aye.
That's as simple as that.
It's a striker low in confidence.
That's just definitely lacking a lot of confidence just now.
Yeah. I mean,
it really, sorry, mate, it really reminded me of the game he had against Aberdeen last season, where he must have blew about 3 or 4 chances. You're thinking, God, is this guy ever going to come good? But he does come good. Those chances that we're talking about missing, if he's on a run of 4 goals in 6 games or something like that, he's burying them. It's got to be affecting him, and I don't doubt his work rate or his commitment to the club, but bloody hell, mate, you need a shake. Sorry, Christian.
Stuart, you spoke last week on the pod about the work that Doidge does for the team off the ball and like I say on the ball as well, but obviously just sort of even so when he's not scoring goals, he's kind of contributing elsewhere. In games like this, is it kind of too easy to point the finger and go he needs to do more, or do you feel that there's a real argument for maybe Nisbet and Boyle up top next week?
I think there has to be. Just even give him a rest. We've had our issues this year with kind of things off the park with our players. I'm not suggesting there is something with Christian Doidge, but he just needs to take that step back, a little bit of regroup within himself, start with Boyle and Nisbet for against St Johnstone. Absolutely.
Matt, how would you feel a little bit Nisbet coming back into the team? A lot of people kind of a bit frustrated with him, everything that happened back in January. How would you feel about him coming back into the team?
Actually, I think a lot of Hibs fans would be annoyed to see him come into the team. If you look at last week's game, after the second goal, he doesn't look interested at all. But I think if he comes back in next week and scores a goal or 2 even, I think he's shooing for a start for the next few weeks at least. And then maybe try and work on a Doidge Nisbet partnership. I know that maybe mean dropping Boyle, but again, Boyle had a poor game on Saturday there. So it's worth a try.
How many of them had a good game on Saturday?
Sure, none of them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You could drop all of them.
Dave, how do you see it going? Obviously, Doidge, like I say, we've spoke about some of the work that he does, but I know you've kind of been an advocate for maybe that's not enough when he's not scoring as well. But in saying that, is Nisbet the automatic solution? Because, I mean, Nisbet scored, 1 goal in 3 months, is it now, or something? Because, I mean, look, they scored the goal against Celtic, was the last goal he scored. He kind of didn't score the rest of January, or 2 months. And then he's no started a game in February. So is Nisbet going to, if he gets a start, automatically be the solution?
Nisbet now is not a good answer. An answer that you then will need to find out if it's the correct one. I just think now we've left ourselves very limited with options. And now we've got an out of form striker and a striker who's also out of form but doesn't want to be here. So it's not exactly ideal. I know you've got Martin Boyle, but he can't play up top his cell. For me, I would always think to myself that I would want to play the person that would want to be there and give you the best effort and application and all that, which would be Christian Doidge. Mm-hmm. It's not his fault that he just isn't at the level that we all need him to be at. But we're going for third in the league. Do you know what I mean?
There was a question in the chat. Play Gary O'Connor's boy, but maybe it's a bit early for that.
Yeah, I would think so. In fact, he's just coming back for injury as well, but it maybe is probably is too early for that. It would have been perfect time for like say Gullen to come in, who scored at the weekend.
That's the thing, when we're talking about Nisbet being the answer or not the answer, unfortunately, is the only possible option we've got now, unless we're bringing in a youth striker. If we were looking at playing bottom 6 football this year with no chance of relegation, bring in a couple of the younger laddies, give them 4 or 5 games between them, absolutely. But we find ourselves in a better position with a bigger conundrum.
I honestly don't know what I would do. Nick, against St Johnstone, I don't know who I would start with Boyle up top.
So you would stick with Boyle, though?
Probably. But he's obviously had all the off-the-field problems, but the last few weeks he has been really good. Saturday he wasn't very good, but that's because we're talking about think about the players that were quiet on Saturday. Joe Newell didn't have a good game, Irvine didn't have a good game, and Murphy didn't have a good game, right? Jackson Irvine did obviously play a good ball through to Doidge, but then apart from that, you've got to think no a lot of service was given to the front two. That's probably why we were passing the ball about to death with twice as many passes as Motherwell, and the pass success was so high because every pass was just sideways and safe because there was no cutting edge, there was no ideas flowing, and so I would say the answer probably is play Boyle up top with one of the two of them and drop Murphy for Scotty Allen. Get a wee bit of creativity in there.
Matt, do you think Scott Allen would be ready for a start? I mean, obviously he seems really eager, but at the same time he seems realistic. When I don't know how much of that sort of interview with him you watched, and he seems prepared for it potentially being next season. But obviously he's got the attitude, but whether he's got the fitness levels to kind of start a game. But would you like, if he is sort of in a decent fitness position, would you like to see him start against St Johnstone?
Might as well. He can't do any worse. I mean, we all know he from his health reasons, he's not going to play a full 90 anyway. Yeah. He's going to get subbed anyway, so you might as well just give him a start, see how he does.
I could easily get an hour from him.
Aye, easily. Then maybe give Murphy the last half hour.
I think if players quiet performances in that, like against in big games, that was a big game for us at the weekend with Celtic playing Aberdeen. That could have been an amazing day for us, like 7 points clear by game in hand. That, to me, if you don't perform in games like that and you're not up for it, and rather than just being like, it wasn't your day or it's an off day, there's got to be consequences for that, or that type of thing can keep recurring, and it does keep happening. And it kept happening with the defence for ages because there wasn't anybody that could come in and step in until Big Daz came in. So I'm hoping if Porteous does get back in and starting again, he's like a bit more up to scratch in that because he knows he can get dropped. It's probably the defence.
Would you be tempted to drop Hanlon, have McGregor and Porteous at the back?
Potentially, no.
For me, Hanlon, he was absolutely ridden hard and put away wet by Tony Watt all bloody game. It was absolutely shocking. And I think there was points where we were dropping Porteous, and I think Hanlon easily could have found himself dropped as well, but we've never really done that to him.
Yeah.
Dave, you mentioned the... On you go. I
was going to say KRW0707 is just saying now on Twitch that he won't get much sharpness playing 10 minutes from the bench. I'm assuming he's meaning Scott Allen.
Yeah.
I believe that as well. Like, start with him with an intent on attacking to win the game rather than starting a game, seeing what happened in the game and then reacting to it.
Put it this way, I'd rather have him starting against St Johnstone and Ross County than having to chuck him in against Celtic, Rangers or Aberdeen.
Yeah, good point.
Dave, you mentioned the point gap there. Like I say, the sort of race for third. We're still 4 points clear. It could have been 7 with a game in hand. Dave, how do you kind of feel about Aberdeen? Like, is there an opportunity for them to kind of maybe kick on now that they've kind of got their new signings bedded in, or do you still feel confident about seeing them out?
The thing about Aberdeen is they do it every year, don't they? Like, we go on about teams like Hamilton being dogged and just always kind of managing to pull it out, and Aberdeen are the same. Like, I don't know how many seasons I've watched Aberdeen now, the last maybe 3, and I thought they've been dire, but they finished third, so they're used to it. Whereas, like, I don't think we've been very good at all, particularly this season. For me, the football's boring, but we're still got performances in us where we're just dropping silly points. And when was the last time we finished third? 2004. So we don't know how to do it. And as we've seen, we've got a meme and everything as a club. We Hibs it. So Aberdeen will very much fancy their chances, but we need to see it out. We need to get rid of all that because that's the only thing that can do it.
Matty, how you feeling in terms of, like, say, the kind of race for third?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, realistically, we should be looking for third. Aberdeen this season have just been crap. Aberdeen itself as a club, their manager is under so much pressure just now. They brought in quite a few players in January, and by the looks of it, they've lost one of their strikers they brought in January who's already went back to their parent club from being injured. So we really should be looking at sealing that third place, getting whatever European competition it puts us into, and nailing that, and just taking it and build on for next season.
Stuart, your thoughts?
I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but I'm still confident for third. I did enjoy the chat last week around finishing second, but realistically, I think third is achievable. I'm honestly putting Saturday down to a bad day at the office. I think Jack Ross will have been a lot calmer than what we were on Saturday, and will be explaining to the boys this week of what is actually expected of them. He's got great man management. He seems to be a good combination of what we had with Lennon and what we had with Stubbs for it as well. So no, I'm confident we can still get third.
We've got. I can see there's a comment here in regards to Jack Ross. So I'll just find it here. It's gone farther away.
Trying to get rid of who would you want to get?
Say that again.
Everyone trying to get rid of Jack Ross. Who would you want to get or want in?
Oh,
That one.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there has been a lot of chat again, Dave. It's like I say, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, Dave. But it's like there does seem to be a bit of clamouring for Jack Ross to potentially go if the results don't come, because the performances are sort of a bit boring.
Yeah, and I don't agree. I don't agree with it, because that cliche results, it's a results business and that. But like we've seen, it's like the game against Hamilton, I don't think we were very good, but we won, so it was fine to get away with it. Whereas if you're playing the type of football we're playing on Saturday and you don't win, then there's no positives to take for the game. Like you can't even come out and be like, oh, but we played well, or we done this, or we didn't do anything. So it really is quite a risky game to play as a manager, because you're just going to have folk on your back.
It really is a pendulum of emotions being a Hibs fan.
Yeah.
Like you win a game, all of a sudden, oh, fantastic, Jack Ross is brilliant. Oh, brilliant to have Boyle fire on all cylinders. You lose a game, then everybody's head's on the chopping block once again. We've come off 4 on the bounce, bad day at the office. I'm still willing to see that Jack Ross, give him a full actual season, none of this break for COVID or uncertain transfer market, things like that. When everyone's back on an even kind of keel and letting him kind of bed in what he's wanting to achieve. He's admitted himself that the football's not what he wants to see, but I think he's still kind of trying to put his stamp on this team and get the most out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it is that sort of thing. Is it kind of hiccup, or is it kind of more of a kind of issue kind of for the race for third? And looking at the next 3 games, which are kind of coming up until the split, we've got St Johnstone, Ross County and Livingston. So, I mean, at face value, when you first see them, Matt, you think, right, okay, it's a real opportunity for 9 points. But looking at the last round of fixtures, we lost to Livingston at home, we lost to Ross County at home, and we lost to St John's. We got a draw with St Johnstone, so 1 point out of the 9. So should we maybe not be counting our chickens yet?
I think exactly that. As long as when we go to Livingston, they play Bartley out wide left, I think we'll be fine. But I mean, I think Livingston, this team they've got just now to a month ago, they're completely different. They've had a sort of mentality change. Don't know what's going wrong with them. St Johnstone are one of these teams we just never play well against. And who's the other one? Ross County, was it?
Yeah, Ross County, the game that was cancelled in the middle of them.
Looking on paper again, it's one we should be winning, but we all know it's a difficult place to go. They just bet Celtic up there, so who really knows what could come from it? A really unpredictable team.
Yeah, sure. I quite an unpredictable 3 games, but a big 3 games going into the split, isn't it?
Yeah, massive 3 games. I think we're almost reading too much into Ross County beating Celtic or Aberdeen just losing to Celtic. That Celtic team right now is terrible. I was expecting a bit more of a bounce back from them. We're losing Lennon in the week, but I don't think John Kennedy's inspiring much for the Celtic fans or the team there at all. We are better than these teams. We just need to make sure that we're going professionally about it.
John Kennedy done an article thing saying that he turned in the Hibs job. I did not know that. He got offered it before Jack Ross.
I didn't know he got offered it, but I know he was in the running for it, and then he kind of with the story that kind of came out from Hibs was he withdrew his thing before he could buy. But I don't know if he was offered it or if he took himself out the race.
Yeah, I believe it was kind of like he was shortlisted. That name kind of leaked out. Wasn't a bad one on paper, to be fair. And then he kind of ruled himself out long before. Like, we never made any official approach to the job or anything like that. So I think he's maybe just trying to big himself up a wee bit there.
He knew what Lennon was like. He knew what he was getting before the end of the season. He knew if he was patient, he'd get that job. Aye. Anyway, we're not going to chat about Celtic. But yeah, a big 3 games. Dave, how are you kind of feeling about the 3 games? Are you kind of confident that we're going for a bit of revenge, and obviously St Johnstone a bit of a cup hangover, hopefully?
Yeah, but you should be confident against those 3 teams, but it's kind of like you say, that Ross County fighting, St Johnstone confident after maybe a cup win, might have a cup hangover. You didn't ken. All I do know is that because it's 3 lesser teams, they'll probably want it. They're quite badly because they're kind of bottom half of the table and that, aren't they? So they can't just turn up and think that it's ours.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, St Johnstone, who've just won the League Cup, Ross County, who've just beat Celtic, and Livingston, who went 11 games unbeaten only a few weeks ago. So, we can't be expecting, just look at that and go, 9 points. But at the same time, maybe we should be a bit because we're Hibs, but about getting that balance, I guess. So we'll look forward more into those games in the coming weeks. So we are going to do a room 1902 to kind of finish up. I'm going to go through your guys' questions, some of them kind of on the game and stuff as well, before we finish up. We've got Whiter57 asking, what is it with Hibs players signing new contracts then play pish? Newell would have been as well sitting on the bench on Saturday for me. Stuart, your thoughts on Newell's performance?
Yeah, back to the Newell that we signed. I'm delighted. If we wait another kind of 18 months, we'll get the guy that we actually wanted. I think there was just far too many passengers on Saturday. I don't think he's taken the foot off the gas at all. Newell's, for me, he's bought into what the club's about, things like that, and definitely has probably been one of our players of the season this year. So, no going to be too critical of him, I'm afraid.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one. Obviously, tremendous player. Still think he's a real contender for Player of the Year. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm sure it's just a bit of a hiccup, like we say. Marco 1875-38 noticed if Ross's plan A doesn't work, he's really slow to change it. Doesn't bring on subs until we have already been punished, which is then too late. He mentioned we did well to keep possession in the last 20, but that only happened because they were sitting on a 2-0 lead. Clueless at times. Matt, your kind of thoughts on that, and then kind of Jack Ross's changing things in games? Is he sometimes too late?
Kind of that. I mean, as well, you see, he doesn't really change formational either. He always tries to stick with the 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, whatever it is. He doesn't really seem to maybe drop back to a back 4, which go 4-4-2, but just brings on players to try and change the way we're going to play, which doesn't work all the time, as we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him do it at the start of the season, like when we were winning games, things like that, and we're in front and try to see out games. But it seemed Davey seems to be not as impactful if we're behind and trying to change it.
Nah, and this we've seen it against St Johnstone in the semi-final, and then we've seen it against Motherwell there. They, for me, were carbon copy performances, where we went behind in the game and we just looked rattled and disinterested, which is concerning. Whether player or manager thing, I don't know.
We've got Frazo Cry Every Day saying, what do you think, Irvine? Irvine, think he's good, but I think he's been dreadful for a couple of games. A few good passes, but apart from that, nothing. Walks about around the pitch and doesn't involve himself enough. A very poor player for me. I would rather an unfit Scott Allen playing. Dave, your thoughts on Jackson Irvine? Are you still as desperate as you were 3 weeks ago for him to still be here next season?
And this comes back to what Stuart was saying. Football fans are very fickle. And the guy's right. His performance on Saturday wasn't good enough. There was loads of passengers. But I think what Jackson Irvine has shown that he can bring I don't know, maybe so many games is maybe catching up to him because then the fact that he's not played in such a big spell of time. We spoke about that on Saturday when we were sitting watching Discord. That's a possibility, but I think he's shown that he is good enough. And I think if you stick a couple of half decent players in there with him, then you never know.
We've got Reece Young, 1875 here saying we are far too soft. Losing Marvin Bartley was a really big loss. The only problem I would have with that, Reece, is we don't play a left winger, so Marvin Bartley wouldn't get in the team. So we've got another one here. It's easy to outmanage Jack Ross. He was outmanaged, pure and simple. Need a new centre back ASAP. Jason Kerr should be our number one target. That's Reece Young again. Matt, is Kerr somebody you'd like to see us look at this summer?
100%. I don't know how many, probably past 3-4 transfer windows we've probably said that he should be our number one centre back. How many years now? I know we had Ambrose that one season, but have we just seen our centre backs being Porteous, McGregor, Hanlon? What we've had to go from? Just there's not a lot different really. So I think centre back is somewhere in the summer, one, possibly two, but definitely one's needing to come in.
Yeah, next year's got to be a building year for getting a new centre-back pairing for the future. We can count ourselves bloody lucky that McGregor's been able to come back in and cement kind of what we know McGregor can do, but he's not the player he was 5 years ago. We can't expect him to keep making those performances and just say, oh yeah, Hanlon McGregor will do for another season. They just won't, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think we need, at the very least, we need competition in there because, like we were talking about when we were playing the two, were the fact that we were kind of saying McGregor's the only competition, and McGregor's came in and done fantastic and kept Porteous out of the team, which is great to see. But I think we definitely do need another option there. Hopefully next season a bit more competition. We had one here. I don't understand the Jack Ross's fault. We're a work in progress. I think he'll change a few things this summer. Next season is when we'll start making judgments. Similar to what you were saying, Stuart. Kind of sounds like he's in agreement with you in terms of we'll see the best of Jack Ross's team next season. Yeah,
I think we will. Obviously, a very intelligent poster there, so thanks for agreeing with me. No, we do just need to kind of give these things a little bit of time. Again, Hibs fans are a bit fickle. We are probably the first ones to kind of immediately want to be pulling the trigger on a system, a player, a manager, and quite often we'll find ourselves in a more dire position for it every time. And at the end of the day, God, we're looking at third in the league right now. That's not exactly something to be sniffed at. If we were sitting here 8th, 9th, then yeah, be saying, right, something's not working with Ross. What should we start looking at?
Yeah, aye. I think, at the end of the day, it's a bad result, Dave. But I mean, I think if you're Hibs, you're going to have results unfortunately like this throughout the season, aren't you? Which is not great, but as long as it's just this one result and doesn't become a trend.
Yeah, it is a trend though. It's been a trend for 15, 16 years.
I guess, yeah. A few more comments here. So, somebody saying, out of everybody fit, the starting 11, obviously hindsight's a good thing, but who would you have changed? That's White or 57. Matt, would any sort of changes you would have made for the team on Saturday?
To be honest, not really. Of course, Doidge was out injured, so the left-hand side couldn't have really been much different. So, to be honest, not maybe I brought Gogic in, but then again, you're thinking you want to attack against Motherwell at home, so then you've got your positive there, but then it's hard to say.
Bring Gogic in, shove Irvine up behind the two strikers and drop Murphy, probably, was what I would do if I was to go back and play that game again.
Yeah, I mean, also a different manager, but I mean, I'll remember that Motherwell game earlier on in the season. I think we did get overrun in the midfield, and okay, Turnbull's not there, but and a different management, but still, I think still a similar midfield. So I think getting an extra man in there would have maybe been a good idea, but easy to say with hindsight now the kind of game's over. And a few sort of comments there, kind of talking about we should have signed Lee Griffiths apparently and sold Nisbet. A few people saying things like that, but yeah. So thank you everybody for your questions and sort of talking points. I appreciate that. So let's finish up then with a game of Room 1902. We've not done this in a while. So for those that don't know, this is pretty much just like the old TV show Room 101, where we take things we don't like, in this case about football, and put them in Room 1902 to go away. Just like I think we've put Seagulls in the past, Hibs throw-ins, amongst many other things. So Dave, what's your kind of candidate for room 1902? I'm going to hear all your suggestions, and then I will put this up as a Twitter poll, and you guys can decide rather than me deciding. Dave, what are you putting up for going into room 1902?
Well, I can't remember if this has already been in it or not. So there you go. There's problem number one. But we'll look over that and we'll just go right for it. I'm going to put in the English Premier League because it's overhyped, it's boring, and see, when you sit and watch Sky, they love to tell you how good it is. And I was sitting watching, and you're hearing Gary Neville, who I actually really like, talking, and he's like, "Oh, this has been a great game," or "This has been this and that," and I'm like, "No, it's not. It's been absolutely murder. There's too much pressure in English football now. They're fit to lose. There's too much on the line." And then you've seen Luke Shaw get interviewed after the game, and he's like, both teams are too safe. That's what he said. And I'm like, the rest of his interview was really bizarre, but he did say both teams were too safe, and but that's not what people want to see. It's meant to be entertaining, the amount of money that's pumped into it and the way that's bigged up and all that, and it's absolutely drivel. I'd rather watch Scottish football over that any day. That's my candidate.
Matt, did you watch the Man United Chelsea game at all yesterday?
Probably about the last 20 minutes, but from what I saw of it, it was quite boring. I think one chance that I maybe saw was like McTominay just charged forward and just couldn't find a pass on the edge of the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There was a bit of that.
Try not to watch it.
There was a bit of that getting towards the edge of the box and just sort of passing it wide and passing it about and just do nothing, because Chelsea are a hard team to break down it. But I understand what Dave's saying. There's a lot of teams like that. I looked at the games yesterday and I thought, you know what? I've heard a lot of people saying about Fulham kind of turning things around and playing some nice stuff. So I watched. I missed the start of it, and I watched some of the Palace Fulham game, and then I didn't watch the Tottenham game, which finished 4-0, and I didn't watch the Leicester Arsenal game, which finished 3-1, and then I watched the full Man United game while I was making dinner. Stuart, fair to say I chose poorly yesterday for watching games of football in the English Premier League.
I was as guilty as you. I've got to be honest. I didn't bother with the Arsenal game, despite a good mate of mine being an Arsenal fan. And yeah, I sat and watched the full Chelsea Man U. So now we're as bright as each other. I'm gonna support Dave's point here. Big thing for me with the English Premier League, there's just so many teams in the top flight that I just do not care about whatsoever. Sheffield, West Brom, Fulham, Brighton, Burnley, Southampton, Palace, Wolves. These are just guys that's like, yeah, okay, we'll see you for a couple of seasons, then you'll bugger off again. We might not see you for another 5-6. That's kind of it. And it's the attitude of the fans. Somebody does well in Bundesliga, someone does well in the French league, someone does well in Serie A. Farmers League. That's all they can say. Every bloody time it's Farmers League. And you're like, no, there's plenty of black and donkey clubs in your system. Didn't you get me wrong?
Yeah. Aye. So I good candidate, Dave. So we'll.
I shouldn't be supporting Dave's.
Matt, what are you hoping to put into room 1902 today?
Mine's just something that sort of hit the news the past couple of days regarding the lore of Scottish football. It's Rangers and Celtic's reserve teams coming into League Two.
Is that come back up in conversation again?
Back up in conversation. Rangers and Celtic have offered £3 million to get the reserve teams in.
Into where? The second division? But
into League Two, yeah.
What gives them that right over Kelty Hearts?
Exactly. For me, I just don't see the point in it. If Rangers and Celtic want their under 20s reserves playing in there, just send them out on loan, help these other clubs out, help them progress up the league. For me, someone who works for a League Two club, I'd rather see just players on loan. I don't want to see Celtic and Rangers as reserve teams down in League Two. So for me, that's what I'm putting forward.
When Celtic and Rangers suggest something, it is there to purely benefit Celtic and Rangers. Let's not kid ourselves. That is always going to be the core, like of any business, to be fair. But they tried to tack this on to the reconstruction of the league and things like that. It sunk like a stone. Hopefully it'll do it again. But it's just a total arrogance and ignorance of the old firm for me, that.
Yeah, Dave, you don't need another reason to hate the old firm, but things like this plays its part, doesn't it?
Imagine there been fucking two Rangers. Can't even get anything worse. Like, it was good when there wasn't the one anymore than they reincarnated and came back. But I'd much rather that didn't happen. I don't like it. Not a big fan of cult teams, B teams, whatever you want to call them.
Another point of reason I don't see, I'm sure when like it first came out a year or so ago, one of the rules was that they can't get promoted up to the league. So what was the initial point of them coming in anyway?
Yeah. I'm sure you've got the German system as well, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's in Spain.
Bayern Munich have got teams lower down, but how far do you let them go? They'll make the argument, but if we're able to get them into the championship, that'll help progress it even more and things like that. And eventually they're just going to be battling for one team. Yeah. That old chestnut.
I don't like them playing in the Caramel Wafer Cup. I don't like that. Like, I'm not a fan of that either. Like, I know Hibs put a team in that, but it's no for me. Like,
they put a team out, and if you went along to the game, you got a free caramel wafer, and it was amazing. It was the highlight of the game because we got beat.
Was it Elgin at home? Was that?
Yeah, Elgin at home. I think Ollie Shaw scored, and it was 2-1. I think we got beat anyway. But yeah, another really good candidate. We don't need much more reasons to hate the old firms, but things like this definitely don't help. So Stuart, what are you putting up against the hype of the Premier League and Colts teams in League Two? What's your candidate to go up against those two?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep this one a bit closer to home, and I've got strong competition here, but I am putting it up against, if you're a team needing points, come to Easter Road. I'm sick, fed up. A team with crap form, bottom of the league, anything like that. Everybody here, if you were looking at your form at the bookies, if you're not a Hibs fan or anything like that, you'd be saying, Hibs are in third, Ross County are in 12th. Absolutely, that's my banker tonight. That's one I can count on. Absolutely not. It's Hibs. So that's what I'm putting in Room 101. The fact that anything to kind of, I don't know, put away any confidence you have in this football team every time it's Hibs.
Home team slip-ups against games we should be winning, yeah. David, you sort of mentioned sort of earlier on, 16 years it's been happening. It is a trend. You sort of feel this has been happening too often?
Yeah, and then I seen in the chat the Water 57 saying we've tried the last 50 years. So he's kind of got a point. I was just referring back to us being third, but it does, and that's why we've got the phrase you Hibsed it, but it's Hibs, innit? That's what we've all grown to love and get used to, and we're all used to it, unfortunately, and you just know that it's coming. As soon as something's good happening, you know that Hibs are going to get your feet back in the ground quite quickly.
It's character building.
Yes,
I remember. I'm sure we spoke about this game a few weeks ago when we beat Rangers at Ibrox 3-2, and then lost to Hamilton the game after 4 wins in a row, and then obviously we lost on Saturday to a Motherwell team out of form. I'm sure. Remember after the League Cup win in 2007, I'm sure we had a slip up after that. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong with that, but it's something we seem to do. Something we seem to do far too often.
Yeah, it's just sort of typical thing. Hibs fans have just got this overconfidence. We expect to beat teams we really should do, and then everything just goes tits up. Just
do any of you get like a text in that when say you are slap them up again, then you should be winning, like saying, "Oh, I've got Hibs in my coupon," like, but then they're texting me like these Rangers fans are like in WhatsApp groups being like, "Dave, what's happening? Like, we've got Hibs."
Yep.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I'll refund you the new. Like,
this thing becomes an absolute telephone.
Yeah.
As soon as Hibs start losing.
Fire when Hibs lose.
Yeah.
Oh, aye.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. Aye, but these sort of banana skins happen too often, so yeah, it'd be good for them to go into Irvine 1902 as well. So a few good contenders there. If you head over to @HFC Talk, I'll get that up tomorrow. Dave, text me to remind me to do that. I'll do that in between my shifts, so around about 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'll get that up as well. And it'll be the overhype of the Premier League, home banana slip ups. I don't know. I think it's a word to it. You only get so many characters. I think it's one way to word it. And Matt's Colts teams in League Two. So get your votes in for that, and we'll get a winner. So yeah. So what you guys got planned for the rest of the night, Dave?
I started rewatching Line of Duty because it's the new season is coming out on the 21st of March. I think it is 21st, 23rd, something like that. and I've really bad memory. Like I remember the crux of it, but I'm sitting watching it now, and I'm like, this feels like a new TV show. It's so bad. Like,
So it sounds like a good thing, though, if you enjoy it, though.
yeah, it's absolutely it's a superb TV show. If you didn't watch it, then I highly recommend.
Never seen an episode. Never seen a second of it.
Stuart, you seen it?
Oh yeah, absolutely love it. Yeah,
Right,
it's counting down to the 21st. Yeah, Gav, you've got to catch up on this one.
Matt, you watch it?
Nope.
Oh, mate, right. The two years.
I might have to now though.
Yeah, that's your homework, right? Start setting homework. I mean, there's 5 seasons, right?
Oh.
So you're basically not going to have a life for the next week.
Yeah.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah.
People that don't watch Line of Duty, Room 1902. There you go. I've changed my answer.
Yeah, and yeah, good point.
I don't know. I don't know what. I have no idea what about it is. I know just like a modern version of the Bill.
Like Martin Clumston is in that.
Oh,
And you've not just got like Reg and like in tight walking. It's
oh, Gav, I like the Bill, right? But that's a disrespect. That
Right,
Matt, what's your plans for tonight?
I'm going to watch Line of Duty.
right.
I don't know about you lot, but yeah, I'm going to go and watch that.
Aye.
No, probably nothing. Flick through Netflix and find something to watch.
Yeah. Stuart, any big plans?
Probably try and rescue my wife from giving Ancestry.com support to her mother. I can hear it getting a bit stressful through there. But no, hopefully watching Unforgiven. Again, kind of a police ITV drama. I think it's on at 9:00 tonight. It's quite a good one.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've got dinner tonight and then I'm going to go find something to watch and obviously editing the podcast as well and getting that up before a couple of long days at work tomorrow and Wednesday. So so yeah, enjoying my evening tonight. But yeah, aye. And just a quick shout out as well because before we can finish up, one of our mates in the group chat, Liam, he had a wee boy about 5:30, became a dad again. So congrats to him. I know he listens all the time. So aye. Congrats, Liam.
Congrats, Liam.
Everyone involved.
well,
But yeah. So yeah, well, like I say, we'll wrap it up there. Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcast, subscribe wherever you get podcasts, at HFC Talk on all the socials. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us live. If not, thank you for listening on the podcast, and we'll be back next week. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers, night.